Good morning. This will be a quick video on the making of these Pokeballs. I have a free downloadable pattern over on my website and I will link that in the description below.
Okay, fabric. I am using felt in red, white and black. I bought 0.2 of a meter in both the red and the white and 0.1 of a meter in the black. Depending on the width of the roll, you should be able to make a few from this amount. Print out the free pattern and then cut out all the pieces. Starting with the red felt with the good side of the fabric face down on the table, trace around your pattern piece with a black pen. We'll be tracing 4 of these out. I am laying mine like this to get the most out of my fabric. Cut them out and keep them face down on the table. Moving on to the white. This is a fluffier fabric. I bought this because it was cheaper than the felt. Each pattern piece will have written on it how many to cut out of each colour. Let's grab one each of the red and white, lay them good sides facing in, matching the straight edge, and holding it together with small bulldog clips or pins if you prefer. We will now sew along this edge with a 10mm seam allowance. Backstitch at the beginning and end. Cut all overhanging threads as you go. And this is what we have so far. Repeat until you have 4 identical pieces. Open out the panel and press open the seam on a very low heat. Take our first panel and with the good side facing up, we will then place on the first black band. Pin and clamp into position. Change over to a black thread. We will be stitching close to the top and bottom of the band. I am using the edge of the presser foot as a guide. I am using a straight stitch with a number 2 spacing. Now that the 3 straight bands are done, we can move on to the white button. I am using a ruler to get it as center as possible, then stitch around with white thread. Lay the button piece on the last panel and sew into position. We can now sew our panel pieces together, being sure to carefully match up the black bands. Clamp or pin one of the sides together. Now these marks are really important. They are 10mm in from the point and indicate where we will start and stop the stitching. Be sure to also backstitch at these points. Repeat these steps with the other 2 panels. We can now join these 2 pieces together. Be sure that the side with the button gets sewn first, match up the black bands, open up the end seams and pin or clamp together. Sew along the edge. For the last seam, we will be only sewing part of the way, marking this with a pin, leaving enough room to turn the ball right side out. Sew the seam and backstitch at the opening. Slowly and carefully pull the ball through the opening. For the filler, I am using a polyester wadding. This is very messy, so I am taking this outside. Cutting small strips of the wadding, pulling and ripping it apart to create lots of volume, and then stuffing that into the casing. Now that the ball is nice and full, we can hand stitch up the opening. I am pinching and holding in the seam as I stitch.
My kids love these Pokeballs. They're nice and soft and perfect for throwing around the house or at each other. If you're having any trouble with the steps, I go into more detail over on my website or leave a question in the comments section below.